Hi, and welcome back to Genshin Impact. We are in the lull period, or at least I am. I know y'all are probably getting your new characters. We are in 2.4. But by the time I'm recording this, it's still a little bit in the past. Sorry. But I did want to give you guys an update and just talk your ear off about the state of the game, how I'm feeling about things, and just kind of chill, just hang out, share in our experience kind of thing. But, ladies and gentlemen, I hope all of you got the luckiest pulls you could possibly desire. Unfortunately, again, your boy's just sitting here, still trying to grind Arataki Itto and Garu's basically getting good artifacts. It's insanity to me how since we're launched, since now, I've made zero ground in finding one more artifact that is better for our boys. It is ridiculous. My luck got spent on Arataki Itto and Garu. Everything else, there's nothing left. There's nothing left. It's quite sad. But alas, my friends, today we are in my favorite spot in all of Genshin. This place, bar none, is best pound for pound, visual, aesthetic, wonderful place. I love it to pieces, very happy to be back, and I thought I would talk your guys' ear off about the state of the game. The first things first, outside of my horrific luck with not being able to get artifacts for our boys, this game is a lot of fun, especially with Arataki Itto. I keep going on and on about it, but basically Arataki Itto and Kazuha and a couple other characters, but Raiden Shogun also to some extent, is just so fun to play. You just, for almost all of them, you just let them rip and they rip things to shreds. And as far as my feeling about Genshin right now, I don't know. I think it's, and this could be a good thing or a bad thing, you'll have to tell me. I feel like a lot of people have kind of just, like, it's like the denial, you know, like the steps of like regret or whatever it's called, of like coping, etc. There's denial, there's this, there's that, but ultimately what comes is acceptance. And I don't know if that's sad or not, because again, I would like the game to have a great end game, to have all this potential queued up. But after I've said it 1,000 times, what I said 1,000 times, by the way, is like if you truly take stock of what Genshin has added over the course of its duration outside of Inazuma, what is still in the game right now? The only thing that comes to my mind is city reputation things, and essentially the Serenity Teapot, and of course just a boatload of characters. But outside of all those things, they're just these events that just come in and then go away, and they're never to be seen again. Which, yes, creates scarcity and is interesting, but yeah, it is also puts things in perspective of like some of the other games I've played, which are shadows of themselves after a year in. They have so much to do, things to do, reasons to do it. Ark Survival Evolved was one of the games that blew me away. Don't Starve Together is insane, keeping constantly updating, constantly. These are indie games that make an eighth of the budget that, of course, Genshin does. And again, the argument is, well, if Genshin were just to keep the events that it added, this would be the biggest, greatest game ever. If all of the events were made not to have a time window and could have been like grinded, you could have just played those to hell and had everything you could want. Probably too much at that point, but I digress. Again, I still think there's no like debate about the like there's sometimes perfect, significantly better mechanics that they just don't add. Like, again, it always blows me away that the expedition system that they sometimes show us, where you can like get your friends to help you on your expeditions, and you get like 2 primo gems per special expedition. Why that isn't embedded in the game, because it's just a better system overall, is beyond me. But alas, even as I say this, I'm not saying it with hatred like I once was, for sure. I'm kind of like ready to put Genshin in the I give up, but it's still a fun game category, which I don't know if is the best thing to do, but I do think that was where I was stuck in a while, where it was just like, it felt like a bad bet, essentially. Genshin felt like a bad bet, and also felt like the community was very sick and tired of its shit, and the people that remain are just kind of trying to have fun with whatever is, essentially. I think that's okay. It's not great, it's not perfect, but I think it's okay. Again, there's a chance, albeit I don't even like saying it at this point, there's a chance that the game will have like a deep end game. You know, it won't just be of chests and a little bit of quests that are not voiced and not really that appealing unless they're part of the main story. Yeah, kind of things. But with that being said, there are hangouts and stuff like that, which I should give credit to. But I digress. Ladies and gentlemen, I just want to talk to your guys' brain about that, about like the sense of there being this settling of a storm. With all that, there bears a question about saying, well, wait, what does this mean for the future of Genshin on the channel, in terms of the whole game maybe? For me, now that I've fully accepted, I've been broken down with all that is Genshin, I think I'm just going to enjoy the game in the best way that I know how to do it. I don't think, and this is the kind of like thing that's funny with content creators and things I've been hearing for the last months, which I've felt and understood, but it's that if the game stays as it is, there's no need for, like, it makes sense, the content of the game is going to drastically drop. Not only because, at this point, everyone and their mother has addressed the problems and given you a slew of solutions on how to fix those said problems. Now, yes, I think it's always fun to attack it from a different way and try to add to it. Sure, there's always that. There's always increasing and polishing, but when something's already essentially signed, sealed, and delivered done, if you do the thing that the people are telling you to do, you're going to get what you want, then yeah, there's people who can optimize, but what's the difference between optimizing two other things within the system, essentially? If a person is trying to help you or give you advice or a hand with the game, there's just no need for it anymore. Everyone's done everything that they can kind of do to death, and the only thing that's left, which is hilarious, the only thing that's left is content creators that can cover every single character and showcase them to their absolute utmost. But even them, they're starting to seemingly, at least for me, my perception of it, starting to kind of just be bone dry. And the community is kind of starting to see the writing on the wall when it comes to, like, even those content creators, where it's like, oh, it's a new character. Okay. It's awesome. And there is a couple, maybe even the majority, I don't know. There is a bunch of people who do come in and they're like, holy shit, I'm so excited, I just got into Genshin, there's so much stuff here. But I'm not sure if it's just my thoughts and feelings about the algorithm of YouTube and knowing that, like, there is something to be said for content that gets uploaded daily and how the algorithm sees fresh new content on the thing. So I don't know, I'm just curious to see how this year goes, if things remain the same. If they start adding endgame content, if they start adding, like, something to grind out and do and feel meaningful to do so and not just some sort of synthetic nothingness burger, then I think, I don't know, I see all over the Genshin community at this given moment where, like, again, even the videos that pound for pound should do well, that cost like $1,000 to create, like summoning, spending daily refreshes so you can have the highest chance of getting good artifacts, so that you can show characters' potential, those videos still seem to be getting like tapering off, or maybe better, for the content creators, people are like, I can't invest another 2 months into getting this artifact set for this one character, but I could see this content creator show me their potential, and maybe I can rationalize in my head, okay, I'll chip away at it, but by the next time there's another awesome character that I'm interested in, I won't have fully built this character unless I'm doing resin refreshes, which feeds into MiHoYo, I think, is marketing strategy to some extent, and the system kind of goes forth until the person finally just says, yeah, I'm just going to use this content creator to basically get a handle on the Genshin community. Now that's all good and fine, but very few games cost this much unless you're streaming, and then people kind of just, use you as a monolith essentially. But I don't know what that means for the entirety of the game, because you kind of need the whole ecosystem in a sense to kind of be flourishing, kind of like the whole YouTube algorithm thing. Eventually people will stop searching you or finding you, and that kind of tapers off in a weird way. Anywho, I have a tendency to ramble, but if I could break my thoughts down, I'm just curious to see what this year brings. And for me personally, the content that I want to start showing you guys when it comes to Genshin, because it's the only content to show. Again, it takes me forever to think of a viewpoint of a person who's just getting into the game who's struggling with something, because I've made videos, people have made videos trying to help them, that there's a surplus at this point, I think. So then to me, the only thing that I could take solace and maybe have a fun time doing as well, is sharing the fun interest of characters and such. So to me, I want to move our content into the direction, for Genshin at least, as just a community game, experiencing the game together, getting excited for the trailers, watching them together as a community. We've already streamed it a ton. It's kind of where it's kind of starting to be placed. But I miss making videos of the game, and I also have a very high-strung representation of what I wanted videos to be for Genshin, which is to be helpful, to be somewhat intriguing, even though I can't wish for the world in the game. Yeah, I feel like that's the route we're probably going to be moving in that direction with Genshin, is just checking out, reacting to fun character trailers, speculating, even though we're probably going to be wrong, because we always shoot for the moon, but every now and again we do get some stars. But mostly we just completely whiff and die in the outskirts of space. Anywho, that's how I feel about Genshin as is right now. I accept it for what it is. I do think it's frustrating still, if I think about it. But again, maybe that's just me having an unrealistic expectation for what I was expecting the game to be. So I'm just gonna move on to like trying to find other games that are lovely and fun, and we can kind of play together, and I can try to help you or show you something interesting. And we're gonna be treating Genshin like it's a TV show, because fuck me, dad, is there no content for people who aren't spending a copious amount of money, and unfortunately, I'm not in a place where I can do that. So, yeah, we're gonna treat it like watching a train wreck that sometimes is the most beautiful train wreck you could ever see. Which, yes, is a fucked up thing to say. Please don't clip this. Anyway, now, on the topic of the game and my progress, might as well squeeze this in. Also, first of all, I would love to hear what you guys think. The reason why I'm going on this long tangent and I'm just making a video on this is because I genuinely want to know what you guys think about the state of the game. And specifically, I don't know, I find it interesting, but the ecosystem that made Genshin come into fruition, which is like content creators. Basically, it's a very visually appealing game, which is very simple, so most people can jump on. I think there's many things that contributed to Genshin's success within the YouTube algorithm, the Twitch algorithm, and just people enjoying it, and it's spreading like wildfire. But I feel like in miHoYo's inaction to provide endgame content and to do things like that, I can see the like community getting bone dry, like just completely done, because there's no guides to be made. People eventually are seeing 6 different characters come into fruition, and people already kind of have their content creators that do that for them. But even those people are starting to realize, it's just a new character and new kit and etc. You know. But with that being said, though, it's not like it's hard for me to say that, because I know people right now have Shinhee and they're like, dude, she's fucking awesome. She looks amazing. It's so fun. I felt the same way when I had Ino, and I had Garu, and you have Shinhee, you have Yunjin too. Sorry. So you probably really feel this, but it's when that goes away that you start to, and if you've experienced this once, twice, 3 times, 4 times, I promise you, unless you're built different, or maybe you are, you'll feel you'll see the writing on the wall, you'll experience the emotions you already felt before, and I don't know, to me, again, I'm a weirdo who just thinks, again, you just need something to do and a reason to do it, and that would add super incentivication to characters, but again, seemingly that's never going to happen. And if it does, a part of me is just like, all right. A part of me is a little jaded about it if it does. Again, I still love the game. I still think the game is beautiful. I still think the story is wonderful. I still think the characters are interesting and unique. I still think that when like seeing a character, seeing their kit, breaking that down is always fun to me. Speculating about the possibilities and potential that they can have. They're almost always a miss. But that's awesome. That's what I want to stay doing on the channel. That's where I see a future of this game on my channel for. But I don't know anything else. I just keep seeing the community, and I keep saying, yeah, no, it just keeps seeming like it's like withering hard. And if it's always going to be chests and quests, I can't do that forever. But what I can do is get excited for characters, react to the trailers with you, communicate about how they could potentially sequence and work, because that's fun. And experience a story alongside you guys, those things. So all those things seem like there's a future there, which is crazy, because that's never what I thought the game would be. I thought the game would flourish into, like, the events would get more in-depth and interesting and have more layers to them, and essentially become more. But instead, if anything, they're just getting more simpler, and there's just more characters, which, I don't know. I mean, again, characters are fun, but when you've leveled up like 18 of them or something, you start to feel a little run down. But anyways, I want to know what you guys think. Maybe you guys are like, no, Grin, you're in certain sects of the internet. There's people coming up all the time in Genshin with videos that are interesting. I don't know. I feel like, yeah, there might be unique ideas coming from a drought, but it doesn't change the fact that there's still no water coming in, which is a problem. As much as creativity is lovely, there still needs to be food and water to nourish plants. Like, it's an ecosystem. Everything feeds itself. Guide people feed wacky, like weird people. Weird people feed guide people. People who come up with interesting ideas feed lore people that explain the story, because it's all under the Genshin umbrella. And you're all pulling different people into this community, and hopefully allowing them to experience other parts of the community and encouraging them to experience other parts of the community. So when that doesn't exist, when one starts to wither and the other starts to wither and then the other starts to wither, there's just a lot less water to go around. Or at least there's not a lot of water coming in, essentially. But alas, I mentioned this way back when we were talking about leaks and how that could have an adverse response to the community, and well, who knows? I would love to know what you think. I managed to ramble again. Sparked it up again. Jesus Christ, sorry. I'm not sorry. You guys sign up for this. I should know this at this point, but love you. But anyways. Okay, so I want to talk to you guys a quick update on the game. I really want to make a video on Garu, even though I know so many people who have spent copious amounts of money on Refresh. Well, I've already basically shown you some dope ass shit. Okay? But your boy is a madman who's also gonna crown this man. Double crown him, because he's just the best. Also, it hurts me still that I don't get to fucking have, the healing and the extra scaling on this, because that would make Garu, but I also want to make a video on Garu. Just Garu, just him. I think we already did that a little bit, but I want to fully send him. Boom. And I also want to see if this is worth its salt. I think people have been telling me about my streams that it is. It's actually pretty okay if you fully send your dog boy. But artifact farm is a nightmare on both of these people. So I want to make videos and cover them to a greater extent, but I can't because I just keep getting unlucky with artifacts. I have not gotten a geo thing ever, and I haven't got one of these defense ones either that's even slightly better. Now, with that being said, Itto still crushes everything, so you don't really need much more. I could just show you Itto just eviscerating shit, which I probably have been, so I'm not just showing you guys a fucking glowing blue area. Your boy has also been prepared for Ganyu since 3 months ago. I told you guys, I was like, I've heard rumors that Ganyu is coming, and I was so wrong. But I farmed up Ganyu forever ago. She's fully built, fully ready to be fully sent. Okay, I've got all of the things I could ever need. I've had it for 30 months. Feels bad. So much resin could have been spent into more topical characters. But I am planning on going for Ganyu. Also, in terms of my wishes, also in terms of my wishes, we have just about 200. Oh, actually, never mind. Apparently that's gone. Shit. Anywho, we have a very high amount of wishes, simply put. And we also have a boatload of star glitter. I still don't know what weapon I'm using for Ganyu, though. What I'm going to fully send and level up. But we have plenty of time to do that, because Shinhee and Yunjin coming out first. Oh, one more thing I want to tell you guys. This right here. So, I have C6 Sayu, and I so badly wanted to make a video on how Sayu is so underrated. People just say she's a taxi, and she is one of the more underrated characters in the entire game. She can heal the Shachu, she constantly debuffs, she's doing good damage, she's swirling damage everywhere. She also if you have her constellations, she does everything too much, to where she heals a lot, she does decent damage, everything. Also, she's a particle generator like crazy, which no one talks about enough. But anyways, I was going to make a video on Sayu, want to dearly, but again, it's the same hellish nightmare that I keep getting faced, where I have 0 fucking artifacts for her that are even remotely good. So I farmed the Veridescent Veneer set so much. It's one of my top couple ones. But I farmed this set so much. Didn't find an Elemental Mastery one to save my life. It sucks. It's so shit to not have this. But anyways, nightmare. Anyways, it's unfortunate, but I wanted to make a video on Sayu. I never got the ability to do it, because right now all of my resin is going, of course, into Itto and Garu, so I can show you guys them. But I wanted to make this video. I've tried for 2 months trying to get her to be the fully fledged. But I couldn't get enough Elemental Mastery. I still do. She's still good enough, essentially. I probably could get away with making a video of her, just because I would just be like, hey, well, you can do more. But I don't know. I always wanted to make a video where I truly showed you Sayu's potential, because I know some people have done it, but some people do it without recognizing what she's doing. They're kind of like, okay, she's just good. Like, what? I think it's just because Bennett's so absurd. But even still, Bennett, I think, or her Sayu, I think in some cases, well, think she beats a lot of other characters, maybe even a certain cat girl, but that depends on if you have her built. But a lot of people have Diona built, not a lot of people have fully sensed Sayu built. But I digress. Ladies and gentlemen, also, this is another thing. I wanted to build Yoimiya not as a DPS, but as a support unit, which I know is significantly underpowered. Like, it's not as much oomph as I would want. But I had this weapon. I wanted to give it to her. But again, resin. I don't have enough. It's not even that I don't have enough resin. I just don't have enough luck. I just don't have enough luck to fully send these characters and build them. So that's the other thing that, like, personally, just me, that I'm feeling like real bad, is I don't know how to play this game if I'm not going to spend $1,000 a thing, and I can't do that. So to me, again, I think if for those guys who are wondering, I want to make guides, I want to showcase characters, I want to have fun with them, but I just, it's now more than ever, it's apparent that cannot be done. And if it is, it's done with like a bunch of buts, or well, like, just know that this is kind of what they can do, but not a fully good representation of what they can do. And yeah, so to me, again, the only thing that I could see working out is if I just cover the game in terms of what excites me, and we can share in that excitement and hype together. Because sure as shit, I can't drop like a $500, $200 every couple weeks to fucking get everything. You know, not even the characters or banners. It's more like the resin refreshes that I kind of need. Or even then, that doesn't say you earn anything. I know people who just go maxed out resin refreshes all the time and don't get anything. But ladies and gentlemen, again, I am actually, as much as I've been a little bit of downer on the tail end there, I'm very excited for the game. And again, I'm just happy that that's my expectation for myself. That's a little bit more easier to manage, I think. Just the idea that, hey, I just want to react to the trailers with you guys. I want to talk about upcoming characters. I keep trying to like give you guys something valuable, but there's nothing to give you that's valuable in Genshin that doesn't cost you $500. So I hope you guys understand why I'm like, I'm not sure what to do here, man. But yes, I do want to experience the game with you guys still, so don't misunderstand that. But yeah, and again, who knows? Maybe the future does change, and there's something that I could do that's helpful. Like we made a video on who the hell you should invest in crowns, and I thought that was a very fun idea. That's something I didn't consider yet. People might be curious about that. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you. Thank you so much for listening to me ramble. That's an update on the game, what I was trying to do, what I'm hoping to do, what I could still possibly do, but is kind of still undervalued because time. People have already shown you at this point, even though I try. Luck has been a rough one for me when it comes to artifacts, but I'm sure it's even rougher for some of you, so please don't take this as whining. Expect that kind of content on the channel. I still want to watch Genshin as almost a train wreck fire, and some of the videos coming out after this will be of that nature, of just checking out the game, being hopeful, being excited for what we can be excited for, and at the same time, hoping for the best, but being okay with probably not getting it, essentially, which is maybe less good. And also looking for other games to play, because yes, I do want to have a game that I can fully send, fully cover, and not feel like I have to drop $500 just to cover. I hope that makes sense. Thank you so much for your time. Hope you guys do enjoy the rest of your day. Let me know again what you think about the state of Genshin as is. Is it drying up? And are you guys noticing the same thing I am, which is certain communities or subsects of the communities going starving? And because they are starving, it's taking a damper on the entire ecosystem of Genshin. That's my sense. Could be wrong. We'll see. Anyways, hopefully you guys do enjoy the rest of your day. Thank you so much for your time, and goodbye, my friends.